The Arise South Africa Supreme Court of Appeal judgment is out, and I'm going to take you through it. But before I do so, I want to welcome each and every one of you to our live broadcast. And as you know, here in Arise South Africa, we see you as leaders of our great movement. I want to take this opportunity to thank every single chairperson of Arise South Africa that has been going to sign the code of conduct in all 9 provinces. If you remember, Arise South Africa is a political party that is qualified for all 9 provinces of South Africa. And we are on all 9 ballot papers in this country. So we are there, and our leaders have been going out every day, and they've been signing. They've been signing the code of conduct to show that Arise South Africa will follow all rules of the upcoming election, as we will be on all 9 provincial ballot papers. And I want to thank all of you as leaders that are going out there every day, door to door, mobilizing for Arise South Africa. Now, as of the national list, we are still there on the 9 provinces, but in the national list, we were removed. And we were told that it's an administrative error. And we took the IEC to court. We had to go through to the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein. And that's where we were represented by Advocate Mpho. And in that court case, we were saying that we were unfairly removed. We still don't understand why. And when we asked questions, we were told it was an administrative error. And the leaders decided that we should go to court, and we did so. Now we're back today. There is a court ruling, and I'm going to share the court ruling and show everybody the court ruling so that everybody's aware of what the court ruling was. And let me just share my screen so that everybody is able to see the court ruling. But we were sent through this court ruling today, and what the court did, if you can see my screen, you'll be able to see the court ruling that is displayed on my screen. Let me try and enlarge it so that everybody's able to see the court ruling. Here it is. This is the court ruling that we received. Now, we received this today. It is from the Electoral Court of South Africa, the Supreme Court in Bloemfontein, as I've already mentioned. And what this document basically does is it groups all the cases. So it says that in the matter between Arise South Africa and the Electoral Court, case number 1, and gives us a case number. But what it also does is it groups the second case, the third case, and the 4th case as well, and the 5th case, because they were actually 5 cases that were similar but not the same that went over to the IEC and took the IEC to court. Now, this is the judgment that was given. The order. It says, having heard counsel for the parties in the above 5 opposed applicants, having read the papers filed of record and having considered these matters, the following identical order is made in each of the above 5 applications under the separate case numbers. The application is dismissed with no order as to costs. Reason for these orders are to follow very shortly. Now, what you can see is that this was sent to us today. We only received it about 30 minutes ago. We received it just before 5 o'clock today. Now, this is the judgment that the Supreme Court of Appeal has given to Arise South Africa with the matter that we raised with them. Before I get to any comments, I see that there's a lot of people that might not know this, and I want to start by showing them the video of what we said, because that video basically summarizes why we went to court and what was said in court. And I want to play the video so everybody understands what it is.
Arise South Africa has hauled the IEC to the Electoral Court over what it terms as its unwarranted exclusion from the national ballot paper ahead of the May 2024 polls. The new political entrant forms part of 5 political parties that have taken the IEC to the specialist court on an urgent basis in a virtual hearing on Monday, the 15th of April, which is today. Arise SA argues that its removal took place on the 27th of March without notice or explanation, further adding that its bid to seek an explanation from the IEC over the exclusion was attributed to an administrative error. Counsel on behalf of Arise SA, Advocate Mpho SC, elaborates.
We are the ones who came and said, why there are these discrepancies, and we objected or protested. Then they say on the 27th, oops, we should actually not even have put you on the national list, and they remove us. So in other words, because we raise, and if we hadn't raised this objection or protest, we would still be on the national list. They say, no, we made a mistake. We should not have put you on the national list on the 26th. It was an administrative error. And it's not explained what the administrative error is. It's a bland thing that says administrative error. We don't know, did the computers fail? Did somebody put the documents in the wrong place? What actually happened? No, we're just told it's an administrative error.
As you can see for yourself, that was the court case that we brought to the Supreme Court of Appeal regarding the case for Arise South Africa. And I've already showed you this was what we were told. Now, I want to say this, to say that there are a few things that are very disheartening just by looking at this document that the court gave us. And the first thing is that all the 5 political parties were basically grouped together. That's the first thing. They basically just, you know, when 5 political parties have got different matters that they bring to the court, how do you have the judgment just ruled into one? To say that as though we were doing a group assignment. Just to say that, no, having grouped all of them, this is the reason why we've dismissed the case. And they are basically saying that the reasons are actually going to follow later. So we have not even been given reasons. We've just been told that it's being dismissed. You won't appear on the national ballot. There hasn't been any reason that's been given. So what we are doing as Arise South Africa, and as I've said this before, that Arise South Africa, it's we the people. We the people shall govern. We the people as a unit, we walk this journey together because it is we the people that want to see change in our country. So we're going to sit down with the lawyers and also sit down with the other political parties and understand what is the way forward regarding this. One thing is very clear, that these elections in our country are the most important election that we've ever had in our country. It is the first time ever that we hear in our country where political parties are being excluded by a system that we are seeing of this nature or of this type. Now, I don't want to say much upon this, but what I do want to say is that if we sit down and we keep quiet, if we accept things as they are, we will have to wait another 5 years with a government that is not serving its people for us to be able to do this. And we are at breaking point as a nation. We collected over 60,000 signatures. People paid. They collected 750,000 to pay for this because they wanted a new government. They wanted to see Arise South Africa on the ballot paper. For us to sit back and pretend as though this is not people's time. There are people that sacrificed their jobs to join the Arise South Africa campaign. There are people that sacrificed their funds to fund our political campaign. There are people that sacrifice their time to collect signatures on a daily basis. There are students that gave up their time to go and assist in collecting 60,000 signatures. It is not easy or child's play to do the work that we've done over the year. And for us to be told that we are off the ballot paper because of an admin error, and when we go to court, it's just grouped to say that all of these 5 applications are all the same, it's the same judgment. I mean, yesterday, we heard the IEC say that they've started printing papers. They've started printing the ballot papers. How do you start printing the ballot papers when there is a matter in court that has not been finalized? And yesterday, they were already saying that they've printed. So today, when we are trying to say, listen, they're telling us that they've printed ballot papers, what are we supposed to do? We are then sent a letter by the court saying that, look, all of these matters have been dismissed, and the reason for dismissal shall follow later. We are 40 days away from the election. How do we have a Supreme Electoral Court in our country that's supposed to be assisting citizens understand and go through the justice process, informing us of this without even giving us reasons, and we have to wait and still think of reasons? I mean, by now we should know what are the reasons so that we understand. Are we going to the Constitutional Court, or what are these reasons? We still don't know the reasons. Where we are sitting, we don't know when these reasons will be given to us. We were just seeing yesterday morning, we're just being told to say that the ballot papers are already being printed. So you might as well figure out that they're being printed. It means that you won't be there. And today, when we are asking questions, we are now being told, oh, on all 5 matters, you're all dismissed. We find this to be very disheartening, especially because citizens did the right thing. Arise South Africa submitted 750,000 before the cutoff date. We submitted enough signatures before the cutoff date. We submitted our national list and our provincial list before the cutoff date. Even the regional list on our side, we submitted it. And even till date, we are still having to go to court, whereas it's a time we're supposed to be campaigning. It's a time where we're supposed to be on the ground, ensuring that our systems are working, ensuring that we have posters out there. Instead, we are spending money to go to court. I mean, going to court at this level, you are dealing with senior advocates. We are talking in the millions in terms of fees. What is going on is very unfortunate, that we've got a political party where people collected signatures and are waiting to see them on the national ballot. But instead, we need to be scraping whatever funds we've got to do our posters, to be going out there and campaigning. Whatever funds we've got, we had to use them on this court case. And even now, at this point where we are, the court is not even giving us enough reasons as to what is going on so that we can figure things out and understand what we need to do to appeal. Many people told us when we started this political journey that politics is not the cleanest game. And we said, we believe in South Africa, we believe in the courts, and we believe that it's time for change. But where we are, we have exhausted our options. We were quiet when these things were happening. We went to the court. We went out there and we informed everybody of what is going on. But we are at the point right now that as a country, you've got over 60,000 people that signed signatures, that gave their identification. By the way, we had over 100,000 people that actually signed the documents. It's just that as the time went by, some of them, the IDs were not correct, etc. But out of that, over 60,000 of them were correct. So how do you have over 100,000 people in our nation wanting a political party to be on the ballot paper, yet the political party has done everything needed to do, and now we must go through the courts on the eve of the election, when we are supposed to be campaigning a new political party? For us, we find this to be very discouraging, especially to young people. I myself, as the president, I'm 30 years old. I am the youngest presidential candidate that this country has ever seen. And for the youngest presidential candidate who's standing up for the truth, to have to go to the courts and beg and try and find answers. And every time throughout this process, by the way, every time we've sought answers from the IEC, they've replied to us late or they've ignored us. Every single time we told the court to say every single time we had to speak to the IEC, it was a struggle. They either ignored us or they didn't reply to us. When we marched to the IEC, they ignored us the whole day. There are many people that might not want to see us on the ballot paper, but there are people that do want to see us on the ballot paper. And those that want to see us on the ballot paper, they went as far as giving us their ID numbers. They went as far as giving us their signatures. What are we now supposed to say when their ID numbers and their signatures and their voices are not going to be heard on the national ballot? And it's important. I need everybody to be clear, because some people have been saying to us that, but Arise South Africa, you're on the 9 provincial ballots. You're going to be on the ballot paper. You should be grateful because you're a new political party. Other parties didn't make it. It's not about that. It's about the fact that the voice of the people wanted us to be on the national and the provincial ballot. Why is it now that we are only on the provincial ballot? Why is it now that we are still having to wait on the eve of the election, already knowing that ballot papers are being printed and being told that they are being shipped to warehouses where they are going to be kept for safety, and still not knowing the outcomes of what is going on? Where we are at the moment, for us, we are not going to give up. And I think this is an important message that we need to take out there, because those that are trying to keep us down think that by insulting us, they think that by causing us to go through all these loopholes to be able to fight for justice in this country, that we are going to get tired, that we are going to run out of money, of which we have, that they are going to frustrate us to the point where we give up and leave politics to those that have been doing it for years and leave the country in their hands. We have a clear message for all our detractors to say we are not going to give up. Where we are going to meet as leaders of Arise South Africa, and we are going to meet with all the other political parties that are also aggrieved to say we have to do something. If it means going to the Constitutional Court, we'll have to go to the Constitutional Court. The one thing we can never allow to happen is watch our country deteriorate and have an opportunity to change things through an election and sit down and give up. We cannot and unfortunately will not allow that. We will need to ensure that we exhaust every single option that is out there to ensure that the voice of the people can be heard. It is the people. It is the people that want Arise South Africa on the ballot paper. If it was not so, if we had not paid the 750,000, then maybe we could say that the people were not interested in having Arise South Africa on the ballot paper. But you saw it on yourselves every day when we came on these lives, that the people dug in their pockets and paid so Arise South Africa can be on the ballot paper. If it was maybe to say that we didn't have enough signatures, maybe we didn't collect enough signatures, we'd understand, because that means that the people don't want to vote for Arise South Africa. But the people of South Africa went out there and to have Arise South Africa on the ballot paper. There have been many attempts to silence us. Recently, I was informed that there's prison, that they're trying to scare us by saying that you'll be arrested. What you are saying, you should stop saying it. We were told that we should stop speaking. We should stop using platforms like this to speak. And that's why I always say to you that whenever you watch these videos, share them. We need everybody to know about what is going on so that they don't silence us, so that they don't keep us under. The whole world must be aware of what is going on. This case must be known everywhere around the world to say on the eve of the election, a political party in South Africa that stood up for change is being taken out of the election, and all we are hearing is that it's an administrative error. It's not about the fact that they didn't pay for the election. It's not about the fact that they didn't have enough supporters. It's apparently an administration error. We can't sit down as citizens and take it. No. Enough is enough. We've taken enough as citizens. And the people of Arise South Africa have given us a mandate to say, we want to see Arise South Africa on the ballot paper. We want to vote for change. We want new leaders in our nation. We can't sit down and allow this to happen. For too long, Africa has suffered a bad governing system and a bad election system. We had people recently from other countries inform us that their election system in their country continues to suppress them. They don't want their voices to be heard. Recently in Zimbabwe, when they had elections, we heard rumors. We kept quiet. When Nigeria had elections, we had these issues. We kept quiet. As Africans, we can't keep quiet. It doesn't make sense that a political party that has done everything to be qualified in an election is being taken out. And they are saying that it's a technical thing that only they can prove on their side. We can't keep quiet. For how long will we allow in Africa for politics to be a thing of a select few where the voice of the people doesn't speak? Is it because we're not funded by the same people that fund all the other political parties? Is it because we refuse to take their money? What is the reason why we are not there? Because the voice of the people was clear when we handed in the signatures. The voice of the people was clear when we paid the deposit. We can't lose this election based on a technicality that nobody can ever prove. That even we on ourselves don't know what is going on. All we are hearing is that you will hear the reasons later. Where have you ever heard in the eve of the election where a political party gets taken out and this is the judgment? And I want people to see it. Because when we speak, when we keep quiet, people usually say to us that where's the proof? Reasons for these orders are to follow very shortly. Well, now it's already close to 6 o'clock. The reasons are nowhere. When are we going to get them? Is it after the elections that we'll be told why we weren't able to participate in the elections? I want to end it off by this. To say we're not asking people, we're not asking for people to feel sorry for us or do this on the other. All we are asking is that the 60,000 people, their ID numbers that we handed in at the IEC, that they confirmed receipt of, the 750,000 that South Africans paid, we are asking that that is what it gets them to do, because they wanted the ballot paper to represent Arise South Africa. And we're asking that that's the case. And those that are saying to us that we should be grateful because we are on all 9 provinces, we are still on the provincial ballot, that's not what the people have asked us to go and do. We can't allow a ploy where we have a national government that is not a representation of the provincial governments. We need to ensure that there is justice in our land. So we are going to apply everything, and we appeal to those that are out there, those in the legal fraternity, professors out there, the scholars out there, those that have studied the legal profession. We appeal to you and ask you at a time like this to say, please, don't keep quiet and watch as our justice system, especially when it comes to elections, goes in the direction it's going in. We plead with you to say now is not a time for you to keep quiet or pick sides. We ask for you to assess what is going on with us and assist us. And we ask for those organizations that stand for justice to say now is not a time to watch us go through this on the eve of the election. We ask for your support. We appeal to you out there to say assist us in what is going on. We want to ensure that there is justice for every single person who wants to vote for Rise South Africa. I'm going to end it here before I go overboard or get emotional about this matter. But we can't be a continent that is known that every time there is elections in Africa, there are always issues. We can't be a continent that is known that every time there's elections in Africa, they'll always rig the elections. They'll steal the elections. We can't be a continent where when young voices rise up and they want to see change in the nation, we get things like this that are thrown at them to keep them off the ballot paper. We can't allow this to happen. The only political parties that are currently represented on the ballot paper, they are all funded by the same people. It's the same people that funded the apartheid government. They funded those political parties on the ballot paper. We were the only political party that's there that's not funded by this white monopoly capital that we know. And to remove us on the eve of the election is completely unacceptable. I want to say this before the end, to say the one thing we're sure about is that there is a God in Africa. And the one thing we're sure about is that the tears of every African have cried for far too long, that Africans have suffered for far too long, and we kept quiet about it. We are not going to keep quiet this time around. We are going to take this to the highest places and ensure that the whole world knows about what is going on until answers can come out. Until the world can know of what is going on in South Africa on the eve of the election.